Hi, Mike from the Rural Montana family. On our recent visit to Yellowstone National Park with the Bolt here, we also got to ride a autonomous shuttle in the park. This was quite a interesting experience. Let's go see. So we are about to get on this autonomous electric powered shuttle here in Yellowstone National Park. It's got a cute license plate. It's L2. Looks like it's got LiDAR on it and cameras. So we'll see. They're cleaning it up right now so we can get on. Looks like more LiDAR and cameras in the back. We're back.
We're back. Come on in.
I guess we're going with him.
You're going with him. Yes. 3, 4.
All right. All right.
Okay, lock in. Almost. All right. So, so this is a fully autonomous, runs on GPS. I'm here just to push a button to tell them where to go to next. And as we go by, you'll notice the GPS is like okay, GPS like a track, and then we use LiDAR to sense any objects that are going to come in our way. And you'll notice that they're all in purple, so we track where somebody is, and if they're going to be coming into our path or whatever, then it will avoid it by slowing down or stopping or whatever is necessary.
How big is the battery in this one?
I know it's a 48 volt. I believe it might be 500 amps, but I'm not really sure on it. So we're keeping a distance from going up there because we have cross traffic here. We don't want to go through an intersection if we can't get all the way through. So it already looks ahead like 60 meters, and we know that who has the right of way from who comes up. So he was here before we were. We should be able to go now. Yep. So, now, if one of these cars would have started to come out into the intersection like he's doing right now, so we'll stop again. So he's trying to hurry up and get across, he's making it longer for himself.
So can you run this all day before charging, or do you need to?
We run about 3 hours and then charge for 2.5 and run it for 3, charge 2.5.
Okay.
We actually did just recently do a modification. We're running 3.5 in the morning because we're not that full and we don't need air conditioning. Because running 3 hours in the middle of the day is exhausting our battery, and so we dropped that down to 2.5 hours.
Okay. Does it steer all 4 wheels or just 2?
Just 2 front.
Just 2 the front, okay. And then driven on the rear? The rear wheel drive? Okay.
Yeah, it's a single axle drive.
Okay.
Now we're going to be cutting in front of him, so it's going to stop here because it just has to make sure, since we're cutting in front, that they're not moving and making sure we're safe.
So it picks up all vehicles even if they're not moving.
It looks at, and if we were just going straight, that wouldn't have been a problem. But because we're cutting across in front of them, they built in that extra. We were supposed to use this first lane here. And then they found out that if we tried to deploy the ramp, it's going to be going into another lane, so there's no safety there. But they had already programmed in that intersection. So when we moved to the far other lane, they wanted to go ahead and use that same exit. That's why we had to cut across.
Oh, gotcha.
What's the top speed it's going?
In here, we're going 11 miles an hour top speed.
Okay.
We can go up to 15, but because of the environment, we're running 6 to 11.
Okay.
And in manual mode, we can run it up to 25.
Oh, wow.
There's our other shuttle. They've been doing some work around here, so a few places. Oh, good, we're past that. When we come through this big puddle, we may be a sudden stop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have LiDAR on the back corners, and when we come through there, it splashes up, and then the LiDAR sees some movement, so they'll stop us.
So it mainly works off the LiDAR, right? Or do the cameras? I seen there's a camera, I believe, in the front and the back as well.
We actually have 3 different redundancies. So it runs on GPS. We have redundant GPS receivers here. Then up at the top of the campground, we put up a tower with its own GPS. And so it is looking at... Yeah, sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button and told it to go to the wrong place here, so I got to get started on the right way. And make sure we're not the campground. There we go. Okay.
Human error, huh?
Human error.
The machine will know where to go.
All I got to do is push a button. I can't even do that right.
So there's no springs on this. It feels pretty.
It is air ride.
It's air ride. Yeah. Oh, it feels pretty hard for air ride.
But yeah. It. And the reason it's air ride is because we have to be able to drop the whole shuttle down to deploy the handicap ramp.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it goes down to where it's like just an inch above the ground.
Uh-huh. Cool. And I guess you said 8 people in here, it looks like?
Yes, 8.
Yeah. And so you mentioned air conditioning. Does it also have a heater?
It does. I tried it this morning. More like blowing cool air, I think.
So not very efficient.
Not exactly when it was really cold this morning. I wasn't happy with it. I flipped it off. I thought it was better without it.
So late.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So when you have like future weather conditions, rain, snow, stuff like that, will that also affect the LiDAR?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess by then, Yellowstone won't really be in its busy season anyway when it's...
Yeah, they're not open in those kind of seasons, but the reason I'm stopping it is because when I messed it up back there, it thinks it's going to go all the way back. So I'm turning off the, and I'm hoping that did it. We'll see. That's why I wanted to turn around down there. And it would have just gone right through here without even stopping. Because it's looking to go way down there. It'll still keep the same path, but it won't do the stops.
Oh, gotcha.
So we'll see what's going to happen down here.
So now this is basically a test run, and if this validates that it could be used, this should run at some point all on its own by itself, or?
Two different things. One is testing the shuttle in the environment. We have 16 of these on public roads right now.
Okay.
And we're urban areas, and we're like a mile, 1.2 miles, something like that. So it is a short range shuttle, and that's our business plan. As far as here, it's a grant from the Department of Transportation to see how autonomous vehicles might work in a national park environment. And they were doing some cutting on here. See these new trees they just cut down?
Yeah.
And when they did that, when you talk about visual, oh, that's what I was talking about, the redundancy. So we're also looking at a camera view live compared with what a slow view was that we have recorded. So they're looking at the differences in that. Okay, it looks like it is going to stop here.
So is the intention that if this works out here to start using it
No.
like?
There's no plan beyond this.
Okay.
No matter if everybody loved it and if it worked perfect, they don't have any funding or a plan right now to go forward.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It's only this summer only. They're gathering data, they're gathering feedback, which right here is a QR code on the post here. And if you have an opportunity, they'd love to hear your feedback. They'll take you straight to a survey on the A-frame tents that we have, as well as on these two corners. That QR code takes you to the page all about the project here in Yellowstone.
Okay.
So, but these will take you to right to the survey.
I guess my mind goes to, you know, if something like this were to function properly and be really used as a resource for Park Service, especially for like really popular trailheads with like parking lots that fill up pretty quickly. It's gonna take folks from like visitor centers straight to the trailhead.
I would love to see them get rid of cars on the north rim.
Oh yeah.
And just use shuttles only like they do in Zion.
Yeah.
You know, stop, get on, get off. Because you want to walk around the north rim, you got to walk, then you got to turn around and walk back to your car. You know, so.
Yep.
But it would be great if they had it all the way around.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that would make total sense. Yeah, if you got a bunch of these roaming around, then just pick it up, call people, drop it off.
These to go around, but even if they use regular driver shuttle, I mean, I think a shuttle this size is not going to reduce cars on the road.
For sure.
But it's what we use for our plan, and it actually works well for us, but it's not going to work well this size out here. At least I don't think it will. But it does prove the technology can be used.
And if you got a bunch of those, even with this size, you could get quite a lot of people probably to leave their car parked in a main parking lot. And
well, and that's why we have them running here. It's a little bit farther than what people want to walk over to the eatery, but it's not as much as what they want to take their car. And they may only have an RV.
Yep.
So, gosh, I wish he moved. He's been here for an hour plus, I think. It's taking so long.
So does it use actual friction brakes, or does it use regeneration to stop?
Not regeneration.
Okay, yeah. So there's no regeneration at all?
No.
Okay. So they should put regeneration in it, and they will be even more efficient.
Could be. Most of our stuff, though, doesn't have, in here especially with your hills, it would really help. But in the middle of the city, it doesn't, I don't think it's really going to get you, because you don't get up going very fast. So when you're braking, it's not like it's creating a lot of friction in there.
Well, you would, well, still, you will need at some point brake pads for it. If you would do regeneration, you probably would need never ever brake pads for it.
Right.
And you also don't have the dust from braking, so that's another pollutant.
Yeah.
So that would be even better.
I think you look at the cost between regenerative and disc brakes, though, you got it. It's just like this shuttle is more expensive than if you just go buy a little bus.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of things of keeping the environment clean, you know, being all electric and yeah. I think, and he should have done. For some reason, this stops before we're supposed to, and then moves up where it's supposed to. So it's like it does 2 stops there.
Yeah.
But that's not every time, only sometimes.
I didn't even pay attention. It's got turn signals, I guess.
Yeah.
And it sets them
Turn signals
automatically.
are active, yes. Anywhere we turn.
Brake lights, the usual. Yeah.
Without any village. We hope you're having a great ride so far while we operate the driverless shuttle pilot for 100 days this summer. For the first half of the summer, the T.E.D.D.Y service will provide service between Washburn Lodge, where registration is located, Moran Lodge, where you can access a trail to the Canyon Rim, and the village, where you will find the eatery, general store, visitor center, and post
And
office.
there you go.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
It is quite noisy, huh? So now it's got the hazard set. And it's pretty bumpy ride for air suspension. And it stops pretty hard.
How was it?
A little jerky and bumpy, kinda.
It's very cautious.
It's well, yeah, it's just a little, I don't know, could slow down a little better probably, but it's interesting.
Yes, yes.
So and it's only running this summer though, huh?
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, we're just collecting data for the natural
So
purposes.
and then where is that supposed to go with the data after that? I mean,
they're just gonna look at it and decide if they want to do more of these or if they want to wait a few years for the technology to advance.
yeah. I mean, I know in Switzerland the post office runs the bus routes.
Yeah.
And they have something that looks just like it there, autonomous.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same company or not, but it looks just like it.
Well, they are doing some stuff in Germany. I know. So they may have branched out over to
Yeah.
Switzerland.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see these suckers here. That's much better than all these cars everywhere.
Hey,
And
how are you doing?
people letting the cars run while they park them to just keep them cool. And
It's all eco-friendly.
yeah.
All electric.
The only thing I told him is
Can't grab
should have
the
regenerative braking on it instead of friction brakes.
Yeah.
And it's designed
That would
here
make it
to
more
move
efficient and,
people back and forth.
well, more
Well,
eco-friendly.
Really,
Rather than having
the
to
only
walk or drive,
time that we use the
they can
brakes
get
is for
back and
hard
forth
stops.
here.
Usually
But we
you
also
coast
have it available if you
Yeah.
want to stop.
so we're not really using the brakes that much.
Yeah.
Like we've had shuttles in
Yeah.
our
You wanna
corporate
put your
location,
masks
which is the first
on?
one,
Come on
since
in.
2019, and we have not had to change the brakes on them yet.
Okay.
Because we very rarely
Yeah.
use them.
Is that a high traffic area there too,
Oh, yeah.
like here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they check them like once a month, and they're still good.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I was surprised though. It's he said it has air springs, but it feels pretty rough for air springs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a soft ride. Usually with air springs you get a softer ride rather than...
It's very low to the ground.
Yeah. It could probably still do a little better. And so then under there, that's where the ramp comes out? Is that just like press of a button
in
deal?
this vehicle, so that's where the battery is.
Okay.
In this vehicle, the ramp is in the back there, so the attendant does have to put it down.
Okay.
We got a different vehicle in our fleet called the Navia,
Uh-huh.
and they now came out with a newer version of the Navia that has a ramp that does come out
On the side?
on the side.
Okay.
So there's no need for an attendant to put it down.
Okay.
It's really made for the vehicle
So
itself.
then if you pull the ramp out, the wheelchair would go in from the back, or you got to pull the ramp over to the
You
side?
gotta lift up the ramp,
Oh,
lay
okay.
it down, you know.
So yeah,
Yeah.
well, that doesn't make it fully autonomous then yet, for here anyway. It would have to be the other one that...
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And they just came out with the Olli 2.0, and that one might have a ramp that does come down.
Yeah.
So
You got one?
like all the first versions of
Yeah.
that vehicle don't have a ramp. So.
You got one of the new ones here?
No.
No? Okay.
We just got those at one of our locations. So,
Yeah. All right.
In Georgia, where we just opened a location, they got 2 Olli 2.0s and 2 Navias.
Uh-huh. Cool. Well, appreciate it.
No problem.
You have a good one.